A friend connected me with her nephew for tutoring recently. Good kid and good fit. We worked out the details, what, when, where, and how much. Clean, simple, done. Then she asked me, had her brother and sister-in-law talked to her mom yet about splitting the cost? Had everyone gotten aligned? I said, they threw cash on the table. That part works for me. Mom, brother, sister-in-law, that's their conversation to have. I'm not in that one. She laughed. She said she wished more people thought that way. I didn't think much of it at the time, but I've been sitting with it since. Because that instinct, knowing which problems are yours and which ones aren't, and having the discipline to actually leave the other ones alone, that's not just a preference of logistics. It's a financial skill. And most of us were never taught that. My name is Vincent, and this is Present Tense Finance. And today we're talking about whose court the ball is actually in, and what it costs you when you keep picking it up anyway. I'll be honest with you about something. This season has been hard to slow down in. There's a particular kind of suffering that comes from having things out of your control. Jobs you've applied for, decisions waiting on other people, outcomes that aren't going to move any faster because you're thinking about them harder. And I have not been graceful about that. The grinding feeling, the checking, the mental rehearsal of scenarios that haven't happened yet and may not happen, the way the nervous system tries to treat uncertainty like a problem to be solved. Right now, continuously at full volume, even when there's genuinely nothing left to do. That's not effort. That's simply the cost of not knowing how to wait. Here's what has been helping me. My plant collection has tripled this season. I now have 3 plants. And before you're too impressed, one of them is a succulent, which practically takes care of itself. But here's what I've noticed about the plants. You water them, you put them somewhere with decent light, and then you leave them alone. You don't pull the leaves to make them grow faster. You don't check the roots every morning to see if something's happening yet. You did your part. Now the ball is in the plant's court. That is active waiting. Not checked out, not indifferent. You're still tending. You show up, do your part, you stay available. But you're not trying to worry the growth into happening on a different timeline. I'm still learning this, and the plants are ahead of me on it, but I'm paying attention. Here's where this lives in the financial stuff. A lot of the worst money decisions I've seen, and made myself, don't happen because people don't know any better. They happen because the waiting becomes unbearable. The investment that gets sold in a down market, not because the strategy was wrong, but because watching the number go down felt like doing nothing. And doing nothing felt dangerous, and so something had to happen, even if that something made it worse. The job offer taken too quickly, not because it was the right fit, but because the certainty of waiting for something better was eating the person alive. And certainty, even the wrong kind, felt like relief. The impulsive purchase that shows up every time scarcity gets loud, not because the thing was needed, but because buying something is an action. Action feels like control, and control feels like safety. None of these are discipline failures. They're waiting failures. The ball was in someone else's court. The market, the hiring manager, the future, and the discomfort of leaving it there became more expensive than the decision itself. Here's the question I've started asking. Is there anything I can actually do about this right now that would change the outcome? Not manage the anxiety, not feel more in control, actually change what happens. If the answer is no, the ball is not in your court, and picking it up anyway doesn't move the game forward. It simply exhausts you. I'm not going to tell you to stop caring about the outcome. That's not the practice, but it's actually simpler than that. Just identify one thing that's not actually in your court right now. One thing you've been carrying that belongs to someone else, or to time, or to a process that's already in motion. Name it. Write it down if you need to. And then ask, what's the last thing that's actually mine to do here? Do the thing and then put it down. Water the plant, put it in the light, and let it do what it does. Because here's what I found. The energy you stop spending on outcomes you can't control doesn't disappear. It goes somewhere. It becomes available for things that are actually in your core, the things that respond to your attention, your effort, and your care. The 1 to 5 check-in works the same way. When I ask how you're feeling at the start of the session, I'm not asking so we can fix the feeling. I'm asking so we know what's actually ours to work with today. Sometimes the honest answer is, I'm a 2, and the thing I've been grinding on isn't mine to move right now. And that answer is useful. That answer is at the beginning of doing the right thing, instead of just doing something. Before you go, one thing. Whatever you've been picking up that isn't yours, I'm not going to tell you it's easy to put down, especially when money is involved, especially when the stakes feel high and the timeline feels urgent and waiting feels like losing. But I'll tell you this, the cost of carrying what isn't yours is real. It shows up in your decisions, in your sleep, in the quality of attention you have left for the things that actually need you. Figure out whose court the ball is in, leave it there, and water your plant. If you want help sorting out what's actually yours to carry, if you want to look at what you've been managing alone and build something that fits your real life, the link to book a free 30-minute discovery call is in the description. We start where you are, feelings first, numbers second, because knowing what isn't yours to fix is half the work. I'll see you in the next one.